Wellness Weekly. Discover the secrets to a balanced life. Your path to health.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to the Voice of the Cape on 91.3 FM. If you have just joined us, the program, Wellness Weekly, and of course we are in Sister Circle. The Voice of the Cape, 91.3, 90.9, 89.8, 95.8, and you can also live stream us anywhere in the world on www.vocfm.co.za. I am your host, Nadia Gamieldien, and of course, in this segment, we share real stories of resilience, rebuilding, and renewed purpose. Behind every woman is a story, one of courage, perseverance, heartbreak, hope, and resilience. And today we're joined by an author who has brought many of those powerful stories together in a book that shines a light on the real-life journeys of women who have faced adversities and emerged stronger. Through deeply personal accounts, this collection explores the challenges these women have overcome, the lessons they've learned, and the strength they've discovered along the way. It's a celebration of resilience, healing, and the remarkable ability of the human spirit to endure. We're delighted to welcome our guest to the program to talk about the inspiration behind the book and stories that it tells and the impact that she hopes it will have on the reader. Farah-Dinah Ismail, Assalamu alaikum. Shukran so very much for taking the time to join us this evening.
Wa alaikum salam, Nadia. Jazakallah so much for having me on your show.
It's only but my pleasure, and I'm super excited, just to get to know you a bit better, to find, find out a bit more about what inspired the book, etc. But tell us a bit about who you are and what inspired you to write this book.
Well, first and foremost, I am an author and a very passionate storyteller. I'm a very positive person who values growth and faith and meaningful connections. And I think throughout my life, I've seen many women, quietly carry the burdens that the world never sees. We always keep it in ourselves, to ourselves. Mm-hmm. And we continue to smile and care for others and fulfill all our responsibilities. But silently, we could be navigating pain or loss or disappointment or even personal struggles. And I wanted to create a platform where those voices could finally be heard. Beyond Her Silence was born from a desire to remind women that they are not alone and that their stories do matter. And it's a collection of courage, of hope, resilience, and it celebrates the strength found even in life's most difficult moments.
Wow. I'm sure that, along your journey as being an author, you have and must have encountered many relationships with lots of women that were, facing similar, or different challenges. And that must have been really, a real interesting relationship, that especially when you meet women that are firstly maybe like-minded, but also embrace the same challenges and, are trying to overcome them. And at the end of the day, also just be better and stronger.
Yes, of course. I'm a good listener, so I listen to a lot of stories, and we'd be surprised, but most women have similar struggles, similar issues. We're one collective body that we all are facing similar problems.
Mm-hmm. And talk to us about a bit about who you are, who is Farah-Dinah besides being an author? Does your life, have you dealt with some of the challenges that you faced, the adversities that you faced in your life, in your books?
Yes, I have. And in fact, I do have a story in Beyond Her Silence as well.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, a lot of my work, I have self-published a book of inspirational messages called Soulful Sentiments. And it's little messages of hope, of resilience, of kindness. And it's taken from my life, things I'm going through, things that people around me are going through. I've had a very interesting life, being a daughter to parents or to a father who was in the Air Force, so we traveled a lot. So there's a lot of places that I've been to that will feature in future books and have featured in the books that I've written.
Mm-hmm. All right. What's the central message that you hope your readers can take away from your work?
My greatest hope is that every reader walks away feeling seen, feeling encouraged and inspired. I don't think difficult seasons define us. They really shape us, and that healing is possible. Strength is found in the most unexpected places, and no matter what we've faced, there is always hope. And I also hope readers realize that every person has a story. So kindness and compassion can make such an incredible difference in someone's life.
Wow. Why did you choose to focus on women's journeys and struggles?
Women's stories are often lived very quietly. You know, women carry such enormous responsibilities while putting everyone else's needs before their own. Mm-hmm. And I think for so long, women have been taught to minimize their experiences, to keep things private, to soften their voices, excuse me, to shrink their pain, or to simply stay quiet for the comfort of others. And I think that's happened through generations. Yet behind that quiet strength, there are such remarkable stories of resilience, of sacrifice and courage. And I wanted to honor those stories and those journeys and create a space where women can feel acknowledged, where they can feel understood and empowered. And although the stories focus on women, the lessons they contain speak to anyone who has faced any kind of adversity.
Mm-hmm. Just also, you know, as you talk about adversity and strength, resilience, there's a saying that we as women, we're very proud of saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. What is your view on that saying?
Yes, it is a very powerful saying, and I think one that's been passed from generation to generation. Mm-hmm. I think it's also a way of hiding behind, or having to hide your pain, which is not always a good thing. You know, I think the generation probably that I've come from has experienced that. But I think this new generation doesn't do that. I think that saying would be chucked out the window, literally. I think that they would want to express what they're going through and talk about it, which I think is a good thing. I think it's something that we should have learned many years ago to do.
Mm-hmm. Are you somebody that advocates for, you know, people talking about their struggles and the challenges that they are facing and reaching out to, be it a community, be it somebody? Are you somebody that encourages that? Especially, I haven't had the honor of reading one of your books, but is that what you promote?
Yes, definitely. I think there's such healing. You know, as I said, women have been taught to keep their stories secret, to be silent. And that's why I named the book Beyond Her Silence, because women are generally silent. They don't talk about it. And I think they're shamed for talking about their stories. But yes, I am an advocate for talking about the stories and sharing it in communities, sharing it, or maybe even sharing it in safe spaces. And I hope to start these little get-togethers where women, I've had one already, but where women can get together and we can share our stories and have a little bit of a Q&A and talk about it, because we all go through something similar. So I think it's very important to be able to share it. And I think especially now, since this book has come out, and I think, inshallah, there will be a second book, because so many women have approached me after this book has come out to say that they also want to share their story. Yes, some will be anonymous. They don't want the backlash of, people finding out about their story or who the person is behind the story. But I think it's just important to share it. And I think there's something about seeing it in black and white that is so therapeutic, that is so healing, never mind the fact of the person actually writing it down. So, yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm. Was there one story or character that was particularly emotional or challenging for you to write about?
I think they were all very emotional and very challenging. Most of the writers did their own stories. I just did the edits. But of course, I had to reread them over and over to check all the edits. So yes, it was very emotional. But it wasn't one particular story or character. Rather, it was more the collective strength of all the women that wrote for the book that changed me. Their willingness to keep moving forward, the strength to keep moving forward despite the immense challenges they faced. It just reinforces my belief that resilience and strength often emerges in the most difficult of circumstances. Each story carried its own emotions because they're rooted in real human experiences, and these often become someone else's source of strength by reading the story. And if sharing these experiences helps even one person feel less alone, then it was so worth telling.
Absolutely. If you have just joined us, you tuned to the program Wellness Weekly, The Voice of the Cape. We are in Sister Circle. We have on the line with us Farah-Dinah Ismail. She is an author, and we're talking about her personal journey here on The Voice of the Cape. Do stay tuned.
Wellness Weekly. Discover the secrets to a balanced life. Your path to health.
Welcome back to the Voice of the Cape on 91.3 FM. If you have just joined us, you are tuned to our Sister Circle. We are chatting with Farah-Dinah Ismail, who is an author, and we're talking about her book, a book, of course, that speaks about courage, perseverance, heartbreak and hope, as well as resilience. What surprised you most while researching or writing your book?
I think what surprised me the most was how many women shared similar emotions, despite having completely different life experiences. I mean, the backgrounds, the cultures, the circumstances may be different, but the themes of resilience, of hope, perseverance, and healing connected each and every story. And it reminded me that our shared humanity is often far greater than our differences.
How do you think society can better support women that are navigating personal, professional, and family challenges?
I believe we need to begin by listening without judgment. As I mentioned before, we need to create safe spaces where women can feel heard, where they can be valued, where support can come through empathy, through mentorship, through access to resources, and simply recognizing that by asking for help, it's a sign of a strength, not weakness. Small acts of kindness and encouragement often have a far greater impact than what we realize.
And Farah, talk to us a bit about some of some of the stories that come out in your book for those of us that have not read your book.
It's actually, my opinion, a very lovely mix of stories. There are 11 stories in total, and they cover a wide range of topics from a woman who had lost her husband, so she's a widow, from someone who had gone through a divorce and was going through her iddat period, to a woman who had a narcissistic husband and all her trials and tribulations. It's really a wonderful mixed bag of short stories. And the feedback that I've been given so far is that they wish the stories would have carried on. They wanted to continue reading past the 3 or 4 pages or however many pages they went on for. So I think that's a good testament to the fact that this book has some really good stories.
Mm-hmm. And then, also just talking about some of the challenges that our women face, and what do you? We spoke about what you want women or people to get from the book, but what do you think are the core lessons that can be learned while reading this book, and who this book is aimed at? Is it aimed at anyone? Is it aimed for somebody that's going through, a different type of challenge? I just want to have a better understanding so that, we know who the book is for. Is it just for somebody that is, wanting to read about other people's lives? And we do know there's lots of benefit from the book.
Yes, yeah, definitely. I think it's for any woman going through anything. And even if you're not going through anything, I think being able to read it and empathize with these women who are going through something. But I think every woman is going through something, no matter what it is. It can be a trial or tribulation. It could be a joyful experience. It can be anything. The book is not only, it's not doom and gloom all the way through. There are some really interesting stories. And I think what stood out for me when I was writing it, because I asked every writer to put a little footnote at the bottom of each of their stories to give advice for somebody who is going through something similar. And I think that also makes a difference, because women who read these stories and who are going through something, yes, they'll derive the benefit from reading what somebody else has gone through, but also the little bit of advice at the end, the little tidbit of advice that they can get of how to deal with what they are going through. So, yeah, definitely aimed at women, whether you're going through something or you're not. I think it's a good book to read.
Mm-hmm. Talk to us about, you've... how do you think a society can better support women that's going through these personal challenges? That's the question I asked earlier. But I want to understand, so we live in a society where, mental health has become very, very important for some, But what can we do a little bit better, and what can we do more when it comes to speaking to society about this? I find that so many people will listen to, especially this program, and then tell me, wow, that was a fantastic program. And I then would think, oh, okay, that's great, maybe it hit home. And obviously, many times it doesn't hit home. Many times it's just something that we're listening to. But if we learn from it, if we benefit from it, that's another conversation over another cup of tea.
Yes, definitely. And I think it's so important to carry it through. That's where books like Beyond Her Silence will help. Get-togethers will help. And I think just we need to rediscover the art of listening, not just without judgment, but just listening. Just be able to listen and not interrupt somebody, because I think there's so much power in just being able to listen to somebody. And then, yes, creating platforms where women can get together, get-togethers, women's forums, women's groups, be there book clubs where you can discuss all these things, or just even playing get-togethers, like you say, over a cup of tea, get together, be able to talk about these things in a safe space. Yeah, I think that's probably the best solution. Women need to talk. And I think it's important in today's society. As you mentioned, mental health, it's such an important factor now, whereas it wasn't 20 years ago. So I think being able to encourage women to talk, women who are there are still women who are scared to talk. And I think by creating these safe spaces, it'll make it a lot easier.
Mm-hmm. What advice would you give women who may see themselves reflected in your stories? Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. I would tell them that they're stronger than they realize, and that the story is far from over, and not to allow the past to it's very all in well me saying this, but the person has to also take it in and believe it, to not allow the past to determine the future. It's important to reach out for support, most importantly to believe in your worth and to never lose hope, because every challenge has the potential to become a chapter of growth, be a chapter of wisdom and purpose. But yes, I think it's a matter of somebody taking this all in and taking the first step. We can talk, we can offer advice, we can give advice, but it is up to the individual to want to accept it.
Absolutely. If you have just joined us, the Voice of the Cape on 91.3 FM, and we are in the Sisters Circle this evening. We are chatting with Farah, who is an author. And Farah, just very quickly mention the names of the books, your books.
It's Beyond Her Silence and Soulful Sentiments. And I'm working on it hasn't got a name yet, but I'm working on a hiking table coffee book and on my personal book, which is called Mixed Masala.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Talk to us a bit about Mixed Masala. I like that.
Yeah, it's a book. In fact, that's the first book that I started with, and then all these other projects came and took over. It's a story about my life. As I mentioned before, my dad, who was South African, was in the Air Force, in the British Air Force, and met my mum, who was Irish, Catholic Irish, and her father was Hindu, so that's where the mixed masala bit comes in. And my grandmother was proper Irish Catholic. So it's just a story about our journey, all the countries we visited, what happened in our family. So a lot of twists and turns, and inshallah I can complete this book at some point.
Inshallah. I love the name Beyond Her Silence. What lies behind that book? What is the why choose the name Beyond Her Silence?
Beyond Her Silence came about. We actually did a poll, in fact, with the writers who contributed to this book, and we had quite a few titles. And even though I sort of put this book together, compiled it, edited it, and contributed to it, I wanted it to be a collective decision, and that's how Beyond Her Silence won. But I think it's also it's such a good title because women do keep quiet. We don't tell our stories so freely. So I think it's Beyond Her Silence, I think it just fits the book. And I don't know if you have a copy of the book in front of you, but the cover, which I designed, is of women that have, they're on the other side of the mountain. They're coming down the mountain, and it sort of signifies crossing over all the hurdles, all the issues, all the trials and tribulations. And they've gotten over all of that, and now they are on the descent towards a beautiful sunrise and a beautiful field of flowers, and that was the whole vision for this cover. So I'm not sure if you have a book in front of you or you've seen the book, but that's what the cover is about.
No, so I'm reading Beyond Her Silence is a deeply moving collection of true stories that honor the quiet strength of women navigating life's most profound trials. Within these pages, women share intimate journeys through grief or widowhood, illnesses, disability, infertility, emotional abuse, divorce, motherhood, and spiritual awakening. Wow.
It's a very interesting collection of stories. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure everyone will find one story in this book that they can resonate with.
Mm-hmm. If you have just joined us, the Voice of the Cape 91.3 FM, we pay the bills, and when we come back, we'll continue chatting with Farah this evening.
Wellness Weekly. Discover the secrets to a balanced life. Your path to health.
Welcome back to the Voice of the Cape, and of course, the program Wellness Weekly. I'm your host, Nadia Gamieldien, and we are chatting this evening with an author, Farah-Dinah Ismail. She is the author of quite a few books, one of them being Beyond Her Silence, Soulful Sentiments, Mixed Masala, and these just some of some of her work. I absolutely loved when I was reading about the book Beyond Her Silence, what it spoke about. And this book, for me, I have not read it as yet, but I think it speaks to each and every person listening to this program, because each and every one of us must have gone through something that this book represents. Am I right?
Yes, definitely.
And I also just want to talk about Soulful Sentiments. Talk to us a bit about Soulful Sentiments.
Soulful Sentiments, I published in, I think it was during lockdown, just before lockdown, so 2020, March 2020. It stemmed from Juma messages that I composed myself. And I think after about 3 or 4 years of composing them, sending them out on my Facebook account, to all my WhatsApp contacts, I had lots of people replying and saying, "Oh, but this is just what I'm going through. Like it's made such a difference in my life." And then I decided to put them into a book. So that was the collection of my Juma messages. I took the religious connotations out of the book, or out of the messages, so it would appeal to a wider audience. But I'm on the second edition of Soulful Sentiments, and I've decided to do 2 prints, one where I leave them in and one where I take them out. So, you can buy either or. But over the years, I think my messages have definitely got longer. I seem to have much more to say, which my kids would be horrified about. But and I think I think we all need inspiration. Somewhere along the line, we need some kind of inspiration. I need it. I love to post sayings, quotes, little short reels across my social media, because I think somebody can derive something from it. And if it speaks to me, I'm pretty certain it's going to speak to many other people as well.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And then just also, what advice would you give women, that are listening to the program, that also, just want to put down on paper what they are feeling? And I think journaling is something that we do quite well.
Yes, yeah, journaling is good. It's good to do that, do a little bit every day. And if you are keen on writing your story, I would say write a little bit every day. Write a couple of lines. Write when you remember something. Jot it down either on your phone, in your notes, in your journal, on a piece of paper, but keep writing about it. And I think when you read it back and you read the whole thing once you've written it, you will find it so healing and so therapeutic. And if you're keen on publishing it, whether you put your name to it, whether you use a pseudonym or you leave it anonymous, there's definitely going to be another edition of Beyond Her Silence.
Mm-hmm. Can you share one of the stories or experiences in your book with us?
Yeah, sure. It's probably, I think it's one of the shorter stories that are in the book. It's called Learning to Stand. And it's about a woman who tiptoed throughout most of her life. Started off in childhood, tiptoed around people in her life, her parents, her siblings, and tried to sort of stay anonymous. And it carried on into adult life, into a married life, until a series of events made her realize that she can't tiptoe any longer. It's quite an interesting story, though, and I think it's about choosing herself and how it didn't come easy. You know, it was difficult to choose herself. It was difficult not to tiptoe. But I think her faith helped her. I think she had a son, so her son helped her, and she sees herself as a survivor, a mother and a woman who learned slowly and painfully to stand on her own.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. What if one woman is listening and she feels discouraged? What message would you like to leave her with?
Just please don't give up. Don't give up on yourself. Because whatever you're facing today is only one chapter of your story. It's not the entire book. And your strength is greater, far greater than you know. Your value is immeasurable. And inshallah, the ease will come. It will come. It may not seem it at the time. The light at the end of the tunnel may be far away, but it will come. You've just got to keep believing in yourself. You've got to keep moving forward, even if it's just a half a step at a time. And remember that no matter what you're going through, you're never truly alone.
Okay. Is there anything that you haven't discussed that you'd like, to share with our audience, or just to let them know?
Just that Beyond the Silence is much more than a collection of stories. It's a conversation, an invitation, and a reminder that every voice matters. My hope is that readers not only enjoy the book, but they also find comfort and encouragement and perhaps even courage to share their own story. Because when we tell our stories, we don't just heal ourselves. We create hope for others to heal themselves.
And, with those powerful, almost last words, is there something, that you'd, or piece, one of your favorite pieces of one or two of the books that you'd like to read to us?
Oh, yes, I'd love to read you something. I think, let me put you on my speaker, and let me read you, let me read you one of my Juma messages from, it will be in the next Soulful Sentiments, but let me read you one of those to leave you with. Okay. This one is about your journey. Trust in your journey every day, completely and wholly. Trust in the decisions you make and the path you choose to walk, even if it is riddled with uncertainty and challenges or paved with ease and bliss. Trust allows you to find peace in not having all the answers and lets you embrace any changes with greater courage. When you lean into that trust, you learn to accept what lies beyond your understanding. This helps you to remain hopeful that better days can follow, even after the most challenging of times. Know that every step forward takes time and patience and can open up new and unimagined possibilities along the way. Trusting in the way forward means having faith that there is a better plan set out for you, even when things may seem difficult and unclear. This trust ultimately brings you peace as it replaces fear and uncertainty with faith and hope, It reminds you that Allah sees what you cannot see and that everything you experience has purpose and meaning. This gives you the strength, resilience, and inner peace needed for any situation you face in life. Always have trust that Allah is with you through every moment of your journey.
So inspiring. Subhanallah. I just want to say to you, shukran so much for taking the time to join us this evening. It's been an absolute pleasure, very, very inspiring. And
I'm so grateful, Nadia, for you having me on the show and being able to chat to me. I've really enjoyed my time.
Alhamdulillah. And me too, very, very inspired by you and by your books, and I am very excited to read the very first one, which is Beyond Her Silence. I'm definitely going to get that book and I'll read it, and yes, we'll definitely give some feedback to our listeners. So shukran very much. May Allah continue to bless you, guide you. May you never ever have writer's block. May you
Ameen.
may you
meaning that
may you always be inspired, and may you always inspire others through your work, inshallah. Have a blessed evening ahead. Lovely chatting with you. Assalamu alaikum.
Lovely to chat to you. Wa alaikum salam.
All right, and that, of course, this evening here on The Voice of the Cape, we were chatting with Farah-Dinah Ismail. Wow, what an absolutely phenomenal human soul. Just by chatting to her this evening, I can sense that all she wants to do is just inspire people, and inshallah we make dua that she does that and so much more. It's time for me to love and leave you. I'd like to say to my producer Rafika Benjamin, shukran so much, to our technician this evening Zahir Abrams, and to you our listeners for being part of the show. Shukran so much to our guests that were on the program, Farah-Dinah Ismail, as well as Memuna Williams, spokesperson of Angel of the Almighty. Remember, do support them this weekend in Lentahia, Mitchell's Plain. Until the next time, from myself, Nadia Gamieldien, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.